Hey everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and in this video I'm going to show you the new method that I used last year to start my corn, and I am going to use it from now on because it is simply the best method. So first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for those who bought seeds from me. And on our website, we have orchard baby corn and popcorn for sale. Now, these are the two types of corn I grow all the time. The baby orchard corn is an eating corn. It's just such a sweet, delicious corn and very reliable in short season. So I'm zone 2, and that means that I have really June, July, and August for growth and harvesting for corn, because I usually have frost, let's say anywhere between August 23rd and any time in September. So that doesn't leave a lot of room for corn to grow and mature. While this is northern corn is what I kind of nickname it, because it only grows about 3 feet tall. So instead of 6 to 7 feet tall, it only gets to 3 feet. So that way it grows really fast and sets into beautiful plump ears really quickly. The other variety is popcorn. Now, a lot of people are shocked when they find out I grow my own popcorn. And we usually store about 4 gallons of popcorn seed for our family and then some for selling. So it grows really well here. There is a video that I've made showing how to harvest it, but I didn't show how to plant it. And in this video, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the best method on how to grow corn. I got this idea in my head last year, actually when I was sleeping. I was really on the fence on how to start my corn because my usual way, it did okay, but there was so much shock, and that's how everybody starts their corn here, and that's how my mom grew it, my grandma, and so that's just the way that I've been taught. But in my head, I was asking myself, is there a better way? And I kind of what I call it, sleep on it. Just kind of think and think and think about what I could do better to start corn. The problem comes in is when you start corn too early, it gets too big too fast, and then when you transplant it in the ground, it doesn't like its roots getting disturbed, and then it goes into shock, and some of the leaves can turn purple, and then it takes a long time for corn to get out of shock. And so you end up losing 2 to 3 weeks of it just getting its roots kind of settled into where you transplanted. So that's almost an entire month. That's a lot of days when you're talking zone 2, where every single day counts. And so starting it 2 weeks early, yes, that's great, but you still losing that time when you transplant. Others, what they do is they plant their corn in and they tunnel it. So they put plastic over it because corn needs warmth to germinate, and then it starts to germinate in under that plastic. Then sometime in June or early July, they remove that plastic and the corn continues to grow. The problem that I have with that is I don't have the resource to do all that plastic, and for me, watering with that plastic on is the pain in the butt because I'm looking at 50-foot rows, 3 feet wide. It's not just planting a little corn, I'm planting thousands of plants. So that takes a lot of resources and a lot of money into that plastic. So I decided just to hold off on starting my corn last year, and then it just clicked. I literally woke up almost like a cartoon. I was sleeping and then I just got up, I got it! I got it! Corn, I know how to start it! And I was so excited. I mean, it was crazy. And I was like, That's such a simple idea, but I think it's gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you verbally right now what I'm gonna do, and then I'm going to show you how I do it. And I'm going to do this in the house a couple of months earlier than when I'm actually going to do it, because when I get into the garden here in May coming up and the beginning of June, it is insanely busy. I don't got a moment to film. We just go, 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 we plant. So I am doing this ahead of time. We're going to plant in to some dirt, pretend it's a garden, and really follow this really good technique, and you're gonna have beautiful corn. So first thing is you want to start your corn about 3 to 4 days in advance. I say 3 to 4 days because it depends on the temperature of your place. Corn needs room temperature or, plus 25 really to germinate nicely. So find a spot in the house that you're gonna put your seeds to germinate and get them in that spot once I show you what you're doing. Get a room in your head going, okay, this room, has a sunny window. Can I put the container off to the side so it doesn't get direct sunlight but gets that warmth? Do you have on top of a fridge, like when those older fridges, the top gets warm? In a room, let's say maybe you've got a wood stove going or a furnace vent, can I just set it off? You don't want to set it right on it, but off where it's going to get warm. So think about that, because you'll need to put your container somewhere where it's warm. The other thing is you would need some paper towel. You'll need a spray bottle with unchlorinated water, and you're gonna need seeds. So whatever corn you're growing, definitely use those seeds. You can, if you're in Canada, you can order the popcorn and the orchard corn that I grow. I ship anywhere in Canada. Unfortunately, I cannot ship the seeds internationally, so this is just within Canada. So once you got the warm spot picked out, you have your seeds, you got the paper towel and spray bottle. What you want to do is you basically want to take a sheet of paper towel and you fold it in half so it kind of looks like that. Then what you're going to do is moisten that paper towel either by the spray bottle, or you can actually just drench it underwater, then lightly wring it out. And then you're going to just scatter your seeds on that paper towel, fold it in half, spray it so it's fairly wet, put it in the container and let it germinate. Now it's going to take only 3 to 4 days. So what you need to do is, before you start your seeds, you need to think ahead. You need to look at your weather network or whatever place that you can find a long range forecast, and you need to make sure that the day you start and then 3 to 4 days later, that's when you're planting. There is a very small window. So the only drawback to this is you got a very small window. Once it starts germinating, it has those beautiful roots coming out before it starts to actually have that green sprout. That's the time. And those roots are sometimes like 1 inch long. And you want to plant it before those roots get too big and before it actually has that sprout. Because at this point is when you can literally move around the roots. You're not going to cause any shock. You can get it in the ground, put that dirt over, and it doesn't know that it has been disturbed. So it starts establishing that taproot after, and then you've got the corn in the ground. It just thinks it germinated, and it just starts to root. It just starts to get its roots in the dirt, and it doesn't know any different. And then after about 3 days after planting, it shoots up and you are on your way. So you have lost no time. And we did about 700 popcorn plants, and again the same amount for the orchard corn that way. We planted each seed individually, got it in the dirt, in the rows that we're doing, and let me tell you, we had literally 100% germination, and the plants had no purple leaves. They didn't go into shock. It grew so beautifully that I will never ever look back again. I mean, it worked so good that this year I'm going to share that technique with you because you're going to love it, and it just means that you don't have to start hundreds of more plants in the house with all the rest of your starters. You are literally just starting it by seed, activating that seed, and then putting it into the ground. Now, a big key thing here is you do not want to soak corn. So you don't want to put it in water for 24 hours. Let's say you're like, well, why don't you just soak it? Because it rots. Corn rots really easily, and you don't want to do this. You want to put it on that paper towel where it is moist, but it's not completely submerged in water, and that's really critical when it comes to corn, and you don't want to do that. So this paper towel is really effective. And now that you have listened to me explain how this is all going to work, let's go do it. So we're up here actually in my girls' room. Now there's this beautiful window right here. It's actually east facing, and this is one of the warmest rooms in the house right now. What I'm actually going to do is just put it right on their night table right here. Actually, I might just put it right up here. And I'm just going to put my 2 containers right here. And when I actually do this in June, I'm actually going to use about the same spot. Now, the other thing to remember is we're zone 2, so we are going to put in our popcorn the first week in June. This might be different for your area. If you are clear of frost earlier, then you want to do it earlier, but we usually have the last frost still June 3rd, and so we're not planting till closer to the end of the first week in June. So that's just a note. But anyway, put your containers there. Now we're going to wait 3 days and then we're going to check on them. So when I started this video, I started it on a Monday afternoon, and it is now Thursday afternoon. So we're exactly 3 days. So let's just check the popcorn. Look at that. You see those beautiful roots? Let's just get a little bit closer of a look. Look at those roots, and this is exactly what you want. You got that beautiful root coming, and that is when you want to plant. If it does get a little bigger than this, no big deal, but man, these will grow fast. Like if you would leave it tomorrow, they will almost double in size. So you got to be really, really quick in planting. So take a look at this one. I'm just going to use this one as an example. So you want to grab it by the seed right there. And I'm just going to put it on the palm of my hand. You can see the root. And this would have been one of the first ones to sprout, because right here is where the first leaf is going to come out. And this is critical that this would get planted. So what I'm going to do, because I'm under snow still in the garden, I'm going to use this bowl right here that I have, and I filled it up with dirt. And I'm going to show you I'm going to show you how I would plant these seeds. Okay, so I guess pretend this is my hoe and I'm making a row in the garden. You want to be about an inch in depth. So, you know, this would be, you know, let's say a 30-foot row or whatever kind of row. Just make a nice row for these wonderful popcorn to go in. And then what you want to do is, if you can, grab it by the seed and then put that root down just like that, where that little stem would come out right there. So we do this quite fast. I mean, you don't have to be crazy precise, but you would grab this little seed and you just kind of look where that root is, and then just an inch apart. You don't have to, you know, be, you know, 1 here and 5 inches. They can be planted really close. Popcorn can be planted really close together. And sometimes I even will just insert that root right into the dirt as I go, just like so. And if you hear little birds chirping, that's because my incubator is has little chicks in it. They just hatched this morning. So that's how it would look. Then what you want to do is you would take and then you would just fill that row in just like that. Give it a light pat like that, and then water it. So that's how you would plant your corn. I mean, obviously in a bigger scale in the garden, but you can see how quick and simple that would be, even on a large scale, because now they're ready to go. So even if the ground gets a little cooler overnight, they're still growing. They're still going to make that root because they're germinated, they're growing, and that's the beauty of starting them just like that. So let's take a look at the orchard corn. Now the orchard corn is double the size of the seed, and larger seeds take more time. But take a look at this. You see that one right there? You see that root? There's always the 1 or 2 that germinate first. So that one's ready to go. This would be ready to go for tomorrow. You can see the ends. There's little roots coming on all of these here, little tiny ones. Even this one, take a look at that. So by tomorrow, this could be planted as well. So your popcorn's going to germinate about a day earlier, and that's why I said 3 to 4 days. And of course it depends how warm the room is that you're putting this in, so there's some variance there, but this would be ready tomorrow to plant. And the exact same thing, you know, you got this beautiful, come here little guy, come on, there you go. You got this one here, that beautiful root, same thing. You want to make that row, let's just, you know, go right here, make that row in the garden, and you take that root and you just put it in there. It'll stick up like that, and then bam, cover it up, and it's going to germinate right away. Just make sure they stay well watered. You definitely want them well watered, not drenched, you know, where it's in the swamp like, but keep it well watered. But that root is going to go deeper and deeper and get that moisture deeper and deeper into the soil, which is really, really cool. So I hope that clarifies everything about planting corn. And make sure, I mean, we're in zone 2, so make sure that you adjust this for your zone. We're planting the first week in June because like I said, we get frost up to June 3rd. If you're in a warmer zone, I mean, you can push this head into May, but adjust it, you know, where you live. But even if I, you know, adjust it into May, you may not even need to start them like this. But if you're in the zones that I am, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 4, you definitely want to do this method. It'll make a big difference, and it's so easy to plant it this way than starting plants indoors, and they don't go into any shock. So I just want to say thank you so much again for watching this video. If you haven't ordered any seeds and you would like to, and you're within Canada, go to our website, everything-homemade.com. Check it out. It's not too late to order seeds yet, and happy gardening, and I will see you on the next video.